I married into like the most loving family. I moved into like a Full House family. I hated those stairs. I never liked those stairs.
Why? Any thoughts come to mind when you think of that episode?
That the guys can say some pretty stupid things to the women on the show. Diane Brody's real life father was a Football Hall of Fame quarterback, John Brody. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of Full House Rewind. I'm Dave Coulier.
And I'm Marla Sokoloff.
And today we'll be talking a little bit about Episode 12 of Season 2, also known as Fogged In. And this episode was directed by Joel Zwick and first aired on ABC on January 20th, 1989. So Marla, why don't you give us the description of what this episode is about?
Happy to. Also, shout out Joel Zwick. We love you. The Tanner household becomes a virtual war zone when Jesse's feuding parents, Nick and Irene, are forced by a heavy fog to stay at the house during a fight.
Do you have in-laws stay with you?
Absolutely not. Well, I'm lucky. I am lucky. My mother-in-law lives here, and I love her. Love her, love her.
Yeah.
My father-in-law lives in New York. He's actually stayed here a couple of times. So that's not a total truth that I'm saying they don't stay here. And my mom lives in Arizona, but she prefers to stay at her friend's house because they can get to catch up and stuff. So I'm not a house guest fan as much as most people. I like my space, you know?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
What about you? You got the in-laws staying with you?
Yeah, and they're wonderful people. I married into like the most loving family. I moved into like a Full House family. They hug, they give each other back rubs, they exercise together, they do stretches together. It's ridiculous.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous. And they're all outdoorsy. They hike, they horseback ride, they fish. We had them over for the summer. We had, I think, 15 people stayed with us.
Oh my goodness.
And it was, normally you'd say, oh, how did you have 15 people in your house? They were delightful. Everybody's pitching in on breakfast and making stuff, and guys are fishing out in the backyard. It was like, I was like, man, wow. I married into like luck.
Yeah. I love that.
But I love these people that much, but.
That's great.
Anyway, yeah. Well, we're going to describe what's happening in this episode together. I'll start us off.
Okay.
Season 2, Episode 12, opens with a teaser in Joey's room. Joey is rehearsing his act with Michelle, acting as his audience. He does Jay Leno and hey, Rodney Dangerfield impressions, and Michelle is wearing a small tie around her neck, a la Rodney Dangerfield. So cute. She does a Rodney impression saying, "No respect," and tugs at her tie. This is so cute. I remember that. They both playfully laugh as Michelle gives Joey a little kiss.
And the show opens in the kitchen with Michelle showing Danny her make-believe breakfast that she's preparing in her kitchen playset. Stephanie and DJ enter and ask Danny to make either French toast or waffles.
Well, Danny asks Michelle to choose, and she says cookies. Right?
You blame her?
Jesse enters still half asleep with his hair sticking out, and Joey enters in similar fashion, looking even more disheveled than Jesse. They reveal that they were up all night but managed to finish writing their new jingle.
Kimmy Gibbler enters carrying luggage and announces that she's staying for the weekend. Hearing this, Joey and Jesse scream. It's not very nice. The doorbell rings and Joey exits to the living room while eating a jelly donut. He opens the door and his girlfriend Cheryl enters and invites Joey to go skiing for the weekend. She exits and Joey pumps his fist excitedly as jelly squirts out of the donut.
We cut to the Pink Bunny room where TJ and Kimmy are singing a version of Little Eva's Locomotion. Jesse enters and sees that the reel-to-reel tape recorder is in record mode and discovers that they've recorded over the jingle that he and Joey have created. To say the least, big trouble, mister. They say the least, Jesse, to say the least, Jesse is furious and loses it on Kimmy and DJ. The girls exit as Danny enters. Then Joey convinces Jesse that he was a bit too harsh. As Jesse sits to patch things up with the girls, Danny offers him a hug, which he politely declines.
We cut to Michelle's room. Stephanie enters and asks Michelle to play with her. Michelle says no. Stephanie persists, saying that she'll play whatever Michelle wants. Michelle says horsey and hops on Stephanie's back, riding her like a little pony.
Aw, cute. We cut to the living room. Jesse is pulling a sheet over something large that is sitting on the floor. He calls out to DJ, and she and Kimmy enter down the stairs. Jesse removes the sheet and reveals a drum set. Only on Full House, all of a sudden, magic trick, drum set.
Here come the drums.
He tells DJ that the drum set is hers. She takes a seat at the drums and begins to play erratically. Jesse then sits at the drums and begins to play faster and faster with great dexterity. And Joey and Cheryl enter as Jesse finishes with a flourish.
As Joey and Cheryl begin to exit, Grandpa Katsopoulos enters and announces that the fog outside is getting really thick. So Joey and Cheryl exit with their ski equipment as Grandma Katsopoulos enters. She announces that Grandpa is moving in forever and hands him a suitcase. As Grandma enters and hugs the girls, Grandpa explains that he's in the doghouse because he offended Grandma with a comment he made about her attending night school at the local college.
Ooh,
That's not nice.
Yeah, Grandpa was not, he said something.
Very unsupportive.
Yes. DJ begins to play the drums as Danny enters the front door. DJ tells Danny that the drums were a gift from Uncle Jesse. Danny and Jesse quickly exit to the kitchen.
We cut to the kitchen where Danny's asking Jesse why he gave the drum set to DJ. Jesse tells Danny that he did so because he felt bad and wanted to make things better. Danny becomes upset with Jesse and they exit to the living room.
Well, Danny and Jesse enter the living room where Jesse tells DJ that her dad doesn't want her to have the drums. Grandma exits and immediately returns saying that the fog is too thick for her to leave. The entire family realizes that they are fogged in and they will remain in the house together.
We cut back to the girls' room where Danny is getting a cot ready for Kimmy. DJ asks Danny if he's made a decision on the status of her drum set. He says that he'd like to sleep on it. Grandma and Grandpa enter and give the girls goodnight hugs and kisses. Grandma says that she'll be sleeping in Joey's room for the night, and Grandma and Grandpa exit. Danny tucks Stephanie into bed.
Well, we cut to Michelle's room where Jesse is reading her a bedtime story. Danny enters and Jesse launches into a made-up story implicating Danny as the tall, geeky giant in the story. Danny picks up Michelle and she calls Danny a geeky giant, of course. As Jesse exits, Danny tells Michelle his version of the made-up story. As Danny puts Michelle in her crib, she once again calls Danny a geeky giant. I'm sure Bob loved that. As sensitive as Bob was.
What's that?
As sensitive as Bob was, I'm sure he loved being called a geeky giant.
Geeky giant, yeah. We cut to the girls' room where Kimmy Gibbler is fast asleep and snoring loudly. Stephanie and DJ are awake and sitting up in their beds. DJ gets up out of bed, turns the lights on. Steph and DJ escort the still sleeping Kimmy into Michelle's room and sits her on a rocking chair. Steph and DJ exit as Michelle tries to silence Kimmy. Michelle realizes that Kimmy will not stop snoring and blocks her ears.
Well, we cut to the kitchen as Joey and Cheryl enter in the dark. Cheryl exits and Joey stumbles all the way down the stairs into his bedroom. I hated those stairs. I never liked those stairs.
Why?
Because I broke a toe falling down those stairs one time. Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, that's reason. That's a good reason.
Yeah. I broke a toe. Hated those stairs. And I always had to fly up or down the stairs with a quick entrance or a quick exit. So.
Right. Of course.
Well, all right, I'm back. I'm down the stairs. Through the darkness, we see him remove his clothes and hop into bed. When he lays down, Grandma thinks Joey is Grandpa and quickly wraps her leg over the top of him.
Nope.
No. Grandma then asks if he'd like to kiss and make up. Joey turns the lamp on, and he and Grandma scream, of course.
Hearing their screams, Grandpa enters and sees Grandma and Joey lying in bed. That's not appropriate. He's immediately upset, thinking that some hanky-panky is going on. Danny and Jesse enter, and they're both shocked at the sight of Joey and Grandma together in bed. Obviously.
As Danny and Joey exit, Jesse tells his mom and dad they need to reconcile. Grandpa offers to buy Grandma a new outfit and a pair of shoes. Well, hearing this, Jesse immediately understands his mistake that he made with DJ and the drum set.
Right. We cut to the living room. Danny is seated on the couch as Jesse enters. Jesse apologizes to Danny, admitting that he was wrong about how he handled things with DJ and the drum set. DJ enters at the top of the stairs. Jesse invites her to join him in the living room. As Danny exits, he tells DJ that she could keep the drum set.
DJ joins Jesse on the couch. He explains to her that his actions were wrong and that he should have talked with her first before buying her the drum set. Jesse acknowledges losing his temper, and DJ understands why he got mad.
Jesse explains that when he was young, his dad would get mad at him and lose his temper, and then return a few hours later only to give him a Batman comic book. He tells her that they never discussed the problem or how they felt about things. Jesse tells DJ that he wants their relationship to be better than that.
And Jesse begins to tell DJ about all the trouble he got into when he was a kid. As he finishes, he realizes DJ has fallen fast asleep.
Credits roll, and that is what happens in the episode of Fogged In. Any thoughts come to mind when you think of that episode?
That the guys can say some pretty stupid things to the women on the show.
They certainly can, but then to piggyback on that, I feel like this is a pretty heavy topic of like families not talking about things and then kind of putting a Band-Aid on it in a certain way, and it was masked by comedy, but I think there are a lot of families that do that, and it's nice that...
Yeah, my family, certainly.
I was just going to say, that's my family as well.
That's my family, if you don't talk about it, it didn't really happen.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. Puts me in the mood for a game, Marla.
Let's go. What's this game? At rock concerts, what is the machine that bands use to make fog?
Fog machine?
Yeah, fog machine.
It's a fog machine, right?
It's a fog machine.
It's
still fog themed, so it applies. True or false, Washington, D.C. has a neighborhood named Foggy Bottom.
That's so silly that I'm probably going to just say true.
Yes, it's true. It's also what they sometimes call some of our senior heads of state.
Foggy Bottom. Isn't that Lindsey Graham? Don't they call it Foggy Bottom?
Okay, that's a good one.
We don't get political on this show.
Okay, here we go. Question 5. This is another true or false, which are my favorite ones. Carl the Fog is a popular nickname given to the fog that frequently blankets San Francisco. Is that true or false?
I happen to know people who lived in San Francisco, so I happen to know this is true.
Okay. You are right. Thank goodness for those people who used to live in San Francisco, often embraced in social media and has become an iconic symbol of the city's weather patterns. Carl the Fog.
So, how did I do? Am I 5 for 5?
I think you got them all right here. I'm going to just look. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did.
I think you mastered fog. That's quite an accomplishment.
Think that I maybe wrote these questions.
I wouldn't think that. No.
Come on. No, cut it out. Because now it's time for cut it out.
Cut it out.
Of course, every episode of Full House has a heartfelt scene. Wouldn't be Full House without it. And we have cut out a scene from season 2, episode 12 that we're going to read together. I'll be playing the role of DJ and Dave. You will be playing the role of Jesse.
I'll try and be as cool as I can possibly be and be Jesse. All right. Soft violin music. We got it. Ambiance. Okay. Jesse says, DJ, I should have talked to you about buying you a big gift.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Kid, people have things they don't like about themselves, and me, I have my temper, and sometimes I say the wrong thing in the wrong way, and I hurt people that I love.
I don't blame you for being mad at me. I did tape over your pancake jingle.
Yeah, but I didn't handle it right. I embarrassed you in front of your friend and I hurt your feelings, and then I tried to buy your forgiveness. That was wrong. Do you know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
Well, maybe this will help you. When I was a kid and I did something wrong, my dad would blow his top and send me to my room, and then a couple of hours later, he'd come back with a Batman comic book. And that's how I knew everything was okay. But we never talked about the problem. We never talked about our feelings, the way that I felt. And I don't want that to happen to you and me. I want our relationship to be better than that.
I think we're doing pretty good.
You ain't seen nothing yet, kid. When I was your age, I used to get in so much trouble. I remember this one time I was playing football and Pop was watching TV, his favorite show, the Beverly Hillbillies. I kicked a field goal right through Jethro's face. He yelled at me all night long. Yeah, he had nothing better to do. The TV was busted. And anyway, the point I'm trying to make here, kid, is DJ? DJ? And they lived happily ever after. Oh, that is just a little gut-wrenching, heartwarming little scene, isn't it?
That was sweet. I like that scene a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Okay, so let's review this episode. In this episode, Joey has a girlfriend. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Joey never got the girl. Jesse was always way cooler and got the girls. It was my girlfriend Cheryl who returns. And Cheryl was played by Diane Brody. And Full House, of course, was set in San Francisco, but we shot the show in Los Angeles. And Diane Brody's real-life father was a Football Hall of Fame quarterback, John Brody.
Oh.
So for 17 years, he was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And that is one heck of a Full House coincidence. So Diane would actually do 3 episodes of Full House, and she was pretty funny and really wonderful. She was great. She was very funny. I always thought she was going to come back as a love interest girlfriend for me, but that was it. Yeah. Hey, Marla, have you ever worked on a project where somebody had famous parents show up?
Okay, I have a couple of memories about this. One, when I went to sleepaway camp, my brother and I went to sleepaway camp in Yosemite for most of our childhood. And I remember Sally Struthers, her daughter went to the camp and she came for visiting day. And that was like a really exciting day. That might be like a little bit too niche, but, and then famous parents. I mean, I feel like I live in LA and my kids have a handful of friends with famous parents, but none of them have come to set.
You have way more famous friends than I do.
It's not on purpose. I mean, I feel like most of my friends that are successful weren't when I met them, and I got to see their rise to fame, which has been really exciting.
Because I have some famous friends, but I hear about your journeys, and it's always somebody famous that you know.
Yeah, it's a requirement to be my friend. Let's be honest.
My friends are like truck drivers, accountants.
I mean, I have some of them. I have some
know.
of those too. Okay, it's not only famous people, but yeah, I have really cool, awesome friends. I'm lucky.
Yeah, you do. You have lots of friends. You're very well loved. Let me just say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Which pulls us right back to Full House, because we want to hear your thoughts about Full House. So tell us why your favorite episode, or tell us about it, or just why you love the show so darn much, or maybe you got a question for me or Marla. Just email us at socials@podco.us.
Okay, we close every episode of Full House Rewind by giving all who need it, what, Dave? A hug.
Big hug.
Big hug. And in this episode, the relationship between Jesse and DJ gets a little bit off track. And it's only when Jesse realizes his mistake that he apologizes to DJ. And in the process, he learns something about himself and wants to make it better.
So this week, our feel-good hug goes out to all of you who may want to put a little something back into your relationship and put it back on track. So if you're feeling that way, this Full House hug goes out to all of you. Here's your hug from me and Marla. Aw, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. We end with a hug. That's our show. Thank you for stopping by.
Join us next time here on Full House Rewind, and you can watch all of our episodes of Full House Rewind on YouTube channel. And if you have a comment, a question, something you want to discuss, a story, you want to share it with me and Dave, head on over to our Instagram at Full House Rewind and send us a DM. Have a great day.
So long, everybody. Thanks.